You guys all set? Everybody okay? Anybody not okay? Okay. Well, it's good to be back at Bowling Green. We're very proud of the work that is done here at Bowling Green. We're really focusing on a couple interesting areas today in the workforce, and that is robotics. We had the opportunity to talk to some of the students and seeing what they're doing, and now, as you just saw, nursing. And both of these areas are really areas where we need more people. We need more people with the expertise. I don't have to tell anybody today about the great need that we see in regard to nursing. In regard to robotics and advanced manufacturing, again, this is a lot of Ohio's future. And we have so many good things going for us in Northwest Ohio and across the state of Ohio. And it really is going to come down to, do we have the people with the skill sets, the workers to do the job. So what we saw today gives me a great deal of confidence, and it was good to see. Mr. President, you have any comments here, and then we'll kind of open it up.
Well, I just thank you very much, Governor and Mrs. DeWine. Thank you both for being here and touring. You met some great students and some great faculty and staff. We at Bowling Green are very focused on relevant, meaningful academic programs that are connected with our partners and with industry. So thank you so much for being here.
And, probably the most exciting thing always is talk to the students and to see their excitement, kind of find out how they got into this particular field, what excited them. And, our goal in our administration, and I think it should be the goal for everyone across the state of Ohio, is that our young people, each one of them, find something that they really care passionately about, something that they want to do, and then get the skill sets to be able to do that and to make a living and to, help society. And that's certainly, when we were talking to these students, they all have that attitude. And as I said, it was interesting to kind of see what their background is. Some of them have always known that they wanted to work in this area, and some of them just only recently have decided this is what they want to do. So very, very interesting. Happy to respond to any questions about this or anything else.
So what are your thoughts? Like, you were holding the baby. Was it like holding a real baby?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you just pick up a baby, and we have 8 children. We have 26 grandchildren. We have, we had two babies born, grandchildren born in November, and so I've still got the kind of, I can do the rock. I can still do it a little bit. Just it's kind of a natural instinct at this point. But yeah, it's. We asked the nursing students, how real is this? And one of the things that they said is that they film them doing this, and then the patient can talk, is talking back and forth. But what they learned is when they played the tape back, and I told them that I never want to watch myself on TV because I find out all the bad things I do, but it certainly is a good teaching tool. So. Who else? Anybody else?
Would you like to make a comment on the trooper that was shot yesterday conducting a traffic stop?
Yeah, certainly been thinking about the trooper's family. Being in law enforcement is a difficult job, and when you pull over someone and walk up, you never know what that person has, whether they have a gun or what they're going to do. So it just, I think, reinforces how difficult it is to be in law enforcement today. I don't know all the facts yet, but if you look at the number of people who are being shot today, huge number of them in our cities. Those numbers have gone up. The fatalities have gone up. The homicide rate has gone up. And in many, many of those cases, that person was not supposed to have a gun anyway. I'm not talking about this case because I don't know the facts. But in the majority of cases where a gun is used, the perpetrator, was not legally allowed to have a gun. he had already committed a felony. He had already been told many times, you're not allowed to have a gun. And I want to go back to a bill that I have proposed for the legislature, that is pending in the legislature today, that would say that if police find someone who is a convicted felon of a violent crime who is not supposed to have a gun, and they find them with a gun, we ought to be able to throw the book at them. And we need that. Our police need that tool. Our law enforcement need it. Our sheriff's deputies need it. Our highway patrol needs it. Our prosecutors need it. So I would, again, ask the state legislature, please move this bill. This is a bill that will save lives because it's going to take these repeat violent offenders out of society. The statistics clearly show that the vast majority of violent crime is committed by a very small number of the criminals. And in every community, Toledo, for example, if you could go into Toledo and take 30 people out of Toledo or 40 people out of Toledo or any city in the state of Ohio, you're going to dramatically reduce crime. And the way we can do that is by the passage of this bill. So I would, ask the state legislature to pass the bill. We can't solve every crime, we can't prevent every homicide, but we can reduce them. And we reduce them by going after the repeat violent offenders. That's what we have to do. Who else?
Governor, the Bowling Green State University, as well as most universities in the state of Ohio, are working on mask mandates for next semester. Although there does seem to be some discussion in the House right now of limiting the ability for institutions to move towards mask mandates, even some folks in your own party. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the government should not be in the business of telling our hospitals, government should not be in the business of telling our higher education, our schools across the state of Ohio how to keep their students safe, or in the case of hospitals, how to keep the patients safe and their employees safe. So I oppose those bills in the state legislature. If they come to me, I will veto them. We just need to allow hospitals to have the flexibility of keep their people safe. At our state universities, I want to say our state universities are doing a very, very good job. The vaccination rate is good. They're working very hard to improve that vaccination rate, but by and large, universities are at a much higher level as far as vaccination rate than the general public is. And so we're proud of what the work that they have done.
In order to follow up, what about vaccine mandates, Governor?
Yeah, look, I don't think we're going to see vaccine mandates. I think what we should concentrate now on is, trying to do everything that we can to persuade people to get the vaccine. If you look at the numbers, and to me this is just an amazing number that tells everything, and that is today, if you go back from January until today, of all the people who have been in the hospital from COVID in the state of Ohio, about 97% of them were not vaccinated. 97% of the people who are in the hospitals today, 97% of the people who have been in the hospitals from COVID this year have not been vaccinated. So these vaccines are powerful, and they just are amazing in regard to keeping people out of hospitals. Now, look, we have breakthrough cases, someone may get it, but in most of those cases, it's much milder than it would have been if they had not been vaccinated. So when this pandemic started, the deaths were tragic, but most of them could not have been prevented. Today, virtually every single death could have been prevented. And what a horrible tragedy, and what a horrible thing for that family to know that their loved one's death could have been prevented. We have the tools today. That tool is the vaccine. I'm optimistic and looking forward to, I hope, at the end of this month, when the federal government will approve the vaccination of 5-year-olds and above. And we're going to really, make sure that that vaccine is available to primary care physicians, to pediatricians and others. to get that vaccine out just as quickly as we can. I know in our family, we have families that are kind of divided. We have, family that has kids who have been vaccinated. They've got other kids who are not. It impedes their ability to go on vacation. It impedes their ability, and they have to think twice about going to a ball game. I've got grandkids that, had to think, did not take to ball games this year because they had not been vaccinated. So we're really looking forward to that. We just have to continue to see more and more people vaccinated. So.
It was mentioned back in the one of the rooms about infant mortality. What can the state do to improve its poor performance in this area?
Yeah, I mean, look, we have a great racial disparity in the state of Ohio in regard to infant mortality. An African American baby is much more likely to die than a white baby, and that is just not right, and that's preventable also. So one of the things that I've asked the legislature to do, and they've done it on 2 different occasions in 2 budgets, is to put more money into outreach programs that try to reach pregnant mothers who are in difficult circumstances, and particularly to target those who are poor, those who might have a drug addiction, those who have some reason that birth outcome might not be good. And so we know what will work, and that those outreach programs do make a difference. But we're not there yet. We're a long way to go, and we just have to continue to focus and to do that. But there are programs that we know work. We know if we can reach that mother early in her pregnancy, or even well into her pregnancy, and get her the prenatal care that she needs, that's going to increase the odds that baby will be born a regular birth weight baby, and that baby will in fact survive. We also have a problem of mothers dying. We have a disparity again within African American mothers and white mothers, and again that in 2021 that just should not exist. So it's very, very important. It's something that we're going to continue to focus on.
What are your thoughts on Collin's Law going into
Yeah.
today?
Well, Collins Law goes into effect today, and as I said at the time that I signed the bill, this is a real message to fraternities across the state of Ohio, or to any group, that hazing is just simply not accepted. So we have increased the penalty. We've done some other things that should make an improvement, but the most important thing we can do is change the culture. It should not be acceptable or part of the culture to have hazing. Hazing is not what we want. Hazing can be lethal. We've seen it be deadly here on Bowling Green campus. We never want to see another family go through that ever again. So it is changing the culture. I want to again say that our state universities, our 14 state universities, our 4-year schools, each one of them has been focused on this. And this is something that they're going to obviously have to continue to focus on. You can't just focus on it when there's a tragedy, but I'm convinced that they all really have a focus on this, and that they're going to continue to do everything they can. And there really cannot be any tolerance for hazing. Anybody who's associated with hazing needs to be off the campus. Gone. Anybody else?
Governor, if you don't mind, with COVID obviously being a novel pandemic, and then recently there was a bill passed by Ohio, and I know you signed it as well to go in effect, to allow health providers to deny coverage to those in the LGBT community. What do you say to not only those in that community within BGSU, but also
Ohio? First of all, the law did not spell out any group, and it was never intended to signal in regard to any particular group. First thing I did is became governor is signed a no discrimination policy for our administration, for our employees, that goes clear across. So we don't, discrimination of any form is absolutely wrong. The truth is that those conscious decisions were being made anyway, and that, if someone, for example, was against abortion, they were figuring out how they would remove themselves from that position where they would be dealing with that. You're also seeing it in other cases as well. So I think that, I don't think it's had a huge impact, but let me just say that in the sense that I think people were dealing with it anyway. But it's not in anyone's interest to have a physician doing something against their conscience. That's just probably not good for the patient. It's probably not good for that physician. So no discrimination was certainly intended, by that bill. Let me just add one more thing. Fran and I spent the last 2 days, yesterday and the day before, along our southern border in Texas, and we went down there to visit with our Ohio National Guard. This was a group of men and women who have been down on the border assisting the Border Patrol for the last 12 months. And so we wanted to go down there and talk directly to them and listen to what they had to say. And this was a group and is a group from North Canton, so it was focused more in northeastern Ohio than it was in northwestern or another part of the state. But they've done an absolutely phenomenal job, and very, very impressed by their dedication. We also had the opportunity to talk to them about what they're seeing along the border, also talk to the Border Patrol. And I would just urge the President to go to the border. I think the President of the United States should go to the border. I think it would be important for him to see what we saw, to hear, and to listen to Border Patrol, who can describe exactly, what they're seeing. We have a humanitarian crisis at our southern border that benefits no one. And that includes the people who are trying to get into the country. It's a humanitarian crisis for them. It is also a crisis in regard to drugs, particularly fentanyl. If you look at 2020, and we now have data for 2020, as far as drug overdoses, they went up in the state of Ohio. If you look at the cause of death, 80% of those who died and who continue to die in Ohio of an overdose of drugs die from fentanyl. Fentanyl is the big killer. It comes in primarily from China. We've got to get tougher with China. This is something else that I would ask the Biden administration to do. Get tough with China. This is coming in from China. They can stop it from coming in, and they're allowing it to flow, and it flows generally into Mexico. The Mexican drug cartels take it, and they ship it across our southern border. Almost all the fentanyl, virtually all the fentanyl, is coming into this country. Some comes in by the mail, but the bulk of it is coming in through the southern border. So when we talk about the security at the southern border, this is about saving Ohio lives, because it comes into Ohio, and fentanyl is what is killing Ohioans. So, anybody else? Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.